Alright lads and ladies, it's Dom here, and today we got another archetype enhancement card video, and today the custom cards will be God cards. Yep, it was requested, and I thought I'd go a bit crazy for an episode and make some ridiculously powerful cards. So powerful that I decided I actually needed to have another mechanic in the game to nerf them, which would be the Planestrider keyword, which means these cards can't be destroyed by card effects. Yeah, I said nerf, and now look at me shoving out a huge buff. And you can't target this card, and at the end of your next turn, it gets banished. Just because if these cards stayed on the field, it would be insane. Anyway, get ready to see some incredibly controversial and stupid cards, because it's what you wanted. They're all Daedric princes, by the way. So, first of all, we have Agoura, a 12 cost 7/7, who is neutral, and when summoned, transforms everything on your opponent's side of the field into sweet rolls, and fills their board with sweet rolls. Yeah, I mean, obviously I would have gone with cheese, but it's not actually in the game, because we all know Agoura loves a good bit of cheese. But I thought sweet roll makes quite a nice sweet troll. Yeah. Just something that really makes you think, oh god, I'm in like a bad position now. I kind of made it this effect just because I thought it's kind of random, but it's not so RNG heavy that you just never run it. It's amazing for removal, and it doesn't affect your side of the board at all, which is what makes it very powerful, and is the reason why I think this card's not fair if it stays on the board, despite it only being a 7/7. Right, next we have one which has a typo. And that typo is how it says it consumes everything. It would just be creatures. So, let's assume it says that. It's a 12 cost like all the rest, called Namira. We know who Namira is. She is the Daedric prince of cannibalism and other stuff. I just like saying cannibalism because all her followers usually eat people. But yeah, she, when summoned, consumes every single monster in your opponent's graveyard, and you gain 1 health for each monster consumed. Reason why it's only monster is because this paired with Namira's ring would basically be an OTK if it was everything, and you played it late enough in the game, and I thought that's a bit too stupid for my liking. But yeah, it's just one of those weird and wacky cards which, in the correct position, really starts to make your opponent kind of get into a hectic position. Okay, next is Malakoff, and I should probably mention the reason why all these cards are triple attributes is because I didn't want any of them to be possible to be in the same deck as another one. So, yeah, that's why they're like that, and hence this has also got willpower thrown on, despite it being very heavily based for orcs. And that is, when this card is summoned, all the orcs in your field gain +2 power and breakthrough. It's kind of simple and very specifically made, but to be honest, Malakoff is a Daedric prince, which is like very heavily focused on orcish faith, and I think this is just like something which is good for him, and it would basically make it an excellent boss monster for any orc deck, which is strength and endurance. Obviously throwing in willpower just means you have to get through more cards to get to this as a kind of balance. Right, moving on to the Ebonheart Pact, we have Hircine, my favourite of all the Daedric princes. And this card is, when summoned, give all friendly creatures on your side of the field, last gasp, summon a werewolf depending on the card's rarity, and to the side I've shown each of the cards that it would summon. Yes, I know that picture is a lesson from The Witcher, but I just thought it was such a cool picture, and it works so well that I'd slap it on here. And yeah, the reason for the strength is because aspect of Hircine at its best is 12/12, and the reason why it's also agility to something which again is kind of more of a strength endurance archetype is just because they're wolves. You'd kind of expect them to be quite agile, and that's like what I thought made the most sense. Next in Tribunal we have quite the shafter, and it's Hermaeus Mora, one of the weakest ones I've shown off stat wise, which because it's a 5/5, but when summoned reveal your opponent's entire hand, and you basically choose one and you take it and put it in your hand. Hence the reason the stats are so low, because it would fit in with one of those control archetypes, but instead of controlling it, you basically just nab something from their hand, like a bit of a douchebag, if I'm being honest. So this one isn't actually that badly affected by the fact that it banishes after your second turn with it, but it also means you get full knowledge of what your opponent's got and can plan around it, which is why I think this is actually a really good card. So over in Guildsworn we have Mehrunes Dagon, a 10/10 who when summoned also summons a level 5 Oblivion Gate which can't be destroyed while this card is face up on the field. Yeah, pretty much this is just something which allows you to have a free turn of just summoning as many Daedra as you want with a lot of power, and I mean I guess it gives your opponent one turn to kind of sort of slow it down, I guess, if they can somehow manage to banish this. I don't know, it wouldn't be easy for them to get rid of, but obviously it's just something which is all about making it so the turn after you can just swarm out loads of Daedra for really cheap and in a really powerful manner. Right, now we have one which I think is actually quite a cool card, and that's Boethia, a 10/11, who, when summoned, all the opponent's cards in their deck which have Prophecy lose it. I think this is actually really cool and actually quite good, just because obviously it means there's basically not that much fear in breaking a rune if you've got enough power just to flat out kill them. But obviously it would be quite stupid in game. Maybe if it was something which was like, when this card is summoned, your opponent can't activate Prophecy cards this turn. Something like that could actually be balanced and put in the game as like a monthly reward card. But yeah, this is just like me trying to show off what God cards could do. And obviously, as Boethia is the Prince of Plots, just makes sense. Last but not least, we have Moloch Bal, a 7/20 with Breakthrough, Lethal, and Ward. Immune to lethal, and when summoned, battle all enemy creatures in this lane, ignoring wards. Yeah, this is basically just meant to be a powerhouse, smashing your opponent through all their cards, damaging them as well, hence the reason its attack's not so high. Health's quite high though, because obviously the ward's only going to negate one of those battles out of possibly 4. Yeah, don't know what else to really say. This is meant to be pretty powerful. Maybe not the best fitting for House Lalu, but to be honest, most of these cards are quite questionable about the archetype they've gone into. But I probably want to hear your discussion for which ones they should fit into best, or any other Daedric princes that you'd like to see, what you'd make them do. I'd love to know in the comments, but anyway, hope you enjoyed.